Hello, welcome to the Scale Modelling Cafe and welcome to this week's update. Right, so I've got the Williams top on because we're pretty much at the start of the new Formula One season, which is very exciting. Hoping that Williams can pluck themselves off the bottom and at least get closer to the 9th fastest team. Who knows? And good luck for all the Brits, especially Lewis and George. Let's hope they can claw back some pace towards Red Bull and see Max off this year. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Right. Anyway, right, channel update then. So the i16 project's finished now on the channel. So the final part went up last Sunday. I've had some really nice feedback on that one actually, on the painting and weathering. So thank you very much for that. It was a fun little thing, and I think, as you can see, a wonderful little model by ClearProp. The next project, this one here, part 1 goes up on Friday. Correction, it is Friday, isn't it, today, at time of filming. Goes up on Sunday. This one, I've just thought I'd do something a little bit different just with the intro. So have a look at that. That'd be quite cool. It's not too long, don't worry about that. And as usual for part 1, I'll just go through all the aftermarket bits and pieces and what I aim to do with the model. Plot spoiler, it's Robin Olds, Vietnam, which is going to be cool. I've started the model. It's in here. In fact, project update a little bit later, isn't it? I'm getting ahead of myself. So go back, watch the final part of the i16 if you haven't done already, and look out for part 1 of this beauty going up on Sunday. Other stuff on the channel, right? Trumpeter and Hobby Boss. So I put up the what's coming in 2023 video because we had some very sketchy photos of the catalogue. The catalogue has been released, and there's been I missed pretty much 50% of the stuff. So I'm about to film a part 2 to the Trumpeter Hobby Boss video. So watch out for that one. That covers Trumpeter, Hobby Boss and I Love Kit, and some really interesting kits. 1 or 2 in particular that I'm actually really very excited about. So look out for that one. Also, ICM announced their catalogue a week or 2 ago now. So I'll do a very quick video on that. Obviously, we know most of what the stuff's coming out anyway, but might as well share my thoughts on what ICM are up to. So look out for those videos. Right, the project then. In here is a little box of bits of cockpit bits. The first thing I did is got the white paint out and started to paint the nose wheel bay. So this little bit here, both sides. And then I thought, well, while I've got the white in there, why don't I just paint everything white that needs to be white? So I've done the main wheel bays, the intakes, and some of the undercarriage bits. Only 1 or 2 bits and pieces for that. Then I got out the grey, done that. I've done some paint wear on the footrests. I've done a little bit of detailed painting on the control columns and things like that. What I've also done is the Rio's, not Rio, that's Navy, isn't it? The guy in the back, the Wizzo. The back of his panel, I've drilled out the instrument bits, and I've actually used some of the Anis and his, I think they're spark plugs, and I've used those and I've glued some of them on the cockpit decking here to accept some of the wires. So I'm going to wire up all the back out there and do a little bit of extra detailing. So I've done that. So the base coat's on. Next thing on that is going to be the Quintus Studio set. Get that on, and then I'm going to go in and do the washing and the weathering and that kind of stuff and bring that all together. So that'll be next week. Oh, I've got itchy eye. So it's a very detailed, quite complicated thing. So I have been spending a fair amount of time actually researching and studying the instructions because I don't want to miss anything out and I want to really capture that real busy look of the cockpit. Once I've done the cockpit, the next thing I'll do is I'll paint up the seats and put them to one side, and then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the undercarriage, I'm going to do the weapons, the canopies, I'm going to get all that dangly bit stuff done, all the stuff that I find really dull at the end of a project. But actually, I do kind of I enjoy doing it, but not at the end of a project. I just want to get to the end of the project. I just want to get the thing finished, and I find that sort of last 10% takes about 50% of the time and really slows me down, and I lose a load of mojo. So I tend to bring all that stuff forward, so then I can concentrate on building the airframe and then painting the airframe, and then all I've got to do then, all the sub-assemblies are done, it's just bringing it all together. That's going to be the plan for this one. On to the news then. Starting off with Airfix. So Airfix did a live Q&A. They had a couple of YouTubers on. They gave them 15 minutes each, and people could write in their questions. So it's very interactive. It was it was Dale, the brand manager, and then Matt Whiting, the chief lead designer, and then one of the other designer guys, who unfortunately I can't remember his name, so apologies. But yeah, really interesting chat from them. I posed a question which they answered, which was really cool, which was when is the Gannet coming out? And that was August, September, they're aiming for. So a couple of months before Telford. Which is great, because that means hopefully there'll be quite a few on the competition tables and club tables. So we're really looking forward to that. And Dale said I'm always welcome down there, so I really want to plan a visit down to Margate. Mrs. is not keen, obviously, but I'm going to try and make that happen, because that'd be really cool. The other Airfix news is today, actually, they've just released some of the CAD renderings for the F-35. Clearly that's going to be a simplified kit for the junior modelers or the newer modelers, but it really looks quite intricate how it's Paramjet that's doing it, and it looks really quite detailed and intricate how, you know, the whole design thing. So go and have a look at that. That's quite interesting to see. Border Models have released some of the CAD shots for the FW190A6 and the box art. That looks really quite close. Kicked off a bit of a discussion on scale. Some people are like almost gratuitously offended by 1/35th, and why can't it be 1/32nd? I'm not. The main disadvantage of 1/35th I can see is the plethora of aftermarket decals and wheels and bits and pieces clearly aren't going to fit this. And are anyone going to do any 1/35th aftermarket decals for it? If they do, there's not going to be that many. Personally, I'm going to get Nige, friend of the channel, if I get one, and actually I'm quite tempted by this. I'll just get him to run up some masks for me. But so that must be quite close, actually, that border Verga. Looking forward to that one. What am I going to say? Yeah, Dora Wings. So Dora Wings have announced with some CAD shots of a Fairey Delta 2 in 1/72nd scale. That's going to be a brilliant kit. It's a very niche kit. I'm surprised they've done it. There's been vac forms of it before. There's been resin kits of it before. So to see it in injection moulding is, and from a kind of mainstream manufacturer such as Dora Wings, is really very, very cool. And being a Navy guy, I'm severely tempted by that, because Peter Twiss, who was a Fleet Aeron test pilot, flew that famously. I think it was the first aeroplane to break Mach 2, maybe? I don't know. Certainly had the world airspeed record anyway. So that's cool, but early CAD rendering, so clearly it's going to be a little while. Excuse me. I've got a bit of a tickly throat at the moment, hence I've got some ogging. Okay, and sticking with Ukraine, obviously Dora Wings are Ukrainian. ResKit, the F111 escape pod in 35th scale is now out, so that's really cool, and I know lots of people have been waiting with bated breath for that. So that's going to prove to be very popular, I'm sure. So you can rush out and go and buy that one. They've also released a whole load of weapons in all the main scales. Sidewinders, I nearly said Skyflash then, not Skyflash, the Sparrows, bombs, bomb carriers, TERs, all that kind of stuff. Loads of them, too many to list. But I put pictures up, I shared the pictures on my Facebook page, and they look absolutely stunning. So go and check those out. Again, another Ukrainian company, very poignant, filming this on the anniversary of the Russian invasion. And sticking with Ukraine, finally the ICM Sky Crane is now out. And again, I would have thought this would be sort of fairly niche, but judging by all the chatter around the bazaars, it's going to be really very, very popular. 35th scale, eh? Crikey, Sky Crane, massive. The rotor span is going to be huge. Personally, I'm not going to get one. It's just too big for me building that out here. But I know quite a few people are, so that's going to be really, really cool. And that brings me to the end of the news and pretty much to the end of the video. Right back to the start then. The channel, go back and if you haven't seen it, I recommend the i16 video, the painting and the weathering. I had lots of fun with that. Little variation on the oil dot weathering technique I tried out on that one and was a success, so I was pleased with that. Look out for part 1 of this coming out on Sunday with the different kind of take on the intro. Hope you're going to like that. And then watch out for videos on part 2 of the breaking news from Trumpeter. And the I'll see if I can get an ICM one done as well before I go, and then I'll edit it that while I'm up at Majma, because I'm going first thing tomorrow morning. There we go. That's this week's update. Finally, some modelling has taken place, which is really cool. So, yeah, hopefully some pictures going up next week when I've got something to show you on that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you then next week. Cheers, bye-bye.